Okay, today we're going to talk about Google Drive and sharing your documents in Google. This is something that could be beneficial to you. Now, some of this stuff is going to be you're already familiar with, but hopefully you get a few tips out of it. As usual, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is here at the bottom of the title page, and you can reach out using any of those and get a hold of me. So the first thing you're want to do is go into Google Drive, which you can get to, a variety of ways. I always just type drive.google.com, and it takes you right there. If you're not very familiar with Drive, you go over here and click New, and that's where you can do things like upload a file, upload a whole folder off your desktop, open docs, sheets, slides, forms, which are the more common, Jamboards, which we've talked about recently, sites, where if you wanted to make a website, drawings, and a variety of other resources. Once you're in there, you have your drive. So here you can see My Drive, and you have your recent documents or things you've used. If you have any folders, which I'm going to go over how to create one of those here in a minute, and then you have files down here. So one of the biggest features in Google Drive that I think is not getting used right now is folders. So you have a couple options. The first is to right click and click New Folder, or you can go up here to New and hit New Folder. So if I make a new folder, I can say Drive Demo Folder, and it's going to create that folder. Another cool thing you can do after that, you can right click on it, you can rename it. I like to use colors a lot, so I'm going to change the color to yellow. And that way when you get in there, you can just find whatever it is you're looking for very quickly. So once you double click, now I'm inside this folder. Once inside any folder, just like normal on Drive, if you hit New, you'll create a document. Before we do that, though, I want to go over a couple of these other things. So again, we have My Drive, and if you hit the drop down, it's going to show you all your folders separated. It's going to also have one for any of your Google Classrooms. So if you go in there and take a look, you can see any files that are inside there. So here are my different folders and files and assignments. And from there, you can move around. Next is shared drives. So if you're not familiar or we're not aware, you can create shared drives on Google Drive. So once you're in the shared drives folder, you just right click and hit New Shared Drive, and that will allow you to create a drive that you can share with other people here in the school. So if I click on the Staff Makerspace drive, you can see we have 11 people inside that can access these files and use them. And if you scroll down, it's just like your normal Google Drive. It's just automatically anything that goes in here is shared with every member of the shared drive. So I'm going to go back to My Drive. And then the final place you can go is down here, Share with Me. This is going to be everything that has been shared with you, and that's where they're at. So once something's in here and is shared with you, it can become quite a mess. So just always remember, you can right click on something and make a copy. And once you do that, if I do that right now, it's going to tell you it's creating the copy. And then go back to My Drive, and I have that document right here available to look at and have stored. If you right click on something and hit remove, it's going to get rid of it. And you have some other options here. Make a copy like we talked about. You can download it to your actual computer, any of those. So I'm going to go back into my demo folder here. I'm going to talk a little bit about sharing, not inside the drive, just with a document and ways that can work. So we're going to open a docs. Whenever I open a docs, I like to always, first thing is to give it a title, demo sharing. You don't have to do that, but that's just something I like to do, particularly when you're going to share this file with someone else. So here is the file I am sharing. And let's say I wanted to share that with someone in the district. So if I click, it's just going to give you some recents, and I can type in, we'll use Mr. German as an example, and then I can go select him. Or I can, if I hit share and I type in Goldsmith, it's going to give me my Gwen Goldsmith, Hudson Goldsmith, myself, and then I'm going to use this one. This is someone outside of the school. And you can default them as a viewer, where they can only look at the document, but can make a copy for themselves. You can make them a commenter, and so we're going to start with that. And you click this notify people. If you have that, it's going to email them and tell them, hey, this got shared with you. And now it's going to add a little message with that, and I'm going to hit send. And then because they're not part of our school group, it's going to say, do you really want to do that? And I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and share that. So now that that's shared, I'm going to bring that up. So here I have this, and up here it tells me now that it's shared with one person. And if I click on that, it's going to remind me, hey, this person, this has been shared with. So here on another screen, which it doesn't like, I'm going to, because it's a different web browser, I'm going to bring this up. So up here you can see now I'm logged in as my school account, and then the account I've shared it with here is logged in. And that gives me a couple options. So first, because this is on suggesting, I can type in new information. But see how it has this green bar here? That means I'm not changing the document, because I'm just suggesting. So if I switch back over, on the original creators page, it's in pink, and it tells me over here, hey, they added this. Do I want to reject that, or I can go ahead and add it? And now that is in the file. That is officially part of the file now. Now if I were to add a new piece, a new bit of information, and again, it's going to put that here, and if I reject it, it's going to remove it. It's going to take that out of there because I don't want that in there. The last thing I could do is I could highlight this, and I can add a comment. Good call adding this in, and I can hit comment. Another way you can chat with people that are live in here is I can open this comments box, and I can see all the comments that have been made, or I can make a new one. And then again, if we go back to the original owners, they have this, good call adding this in, and they can see, and if you click on those, you can reply. And then when I'm done with it though, I can click this, and I'm done with that one, and it stores them up here, so you can always go in and take a look. So the next bit of information, and this right here, as you can see, is pink. It's telling me the other logged in person has that highlighted, and that is where they're at in the document. So let's say that I wanted them to be able to not just comment on things, but to do any of the editing. So I can go in here and hit editor and hit save, and if I come back here and I refresh, now I'm a full editor. And things that would be added will just go right in. So that's the difference. In, again, you have three options there. You can set them to view, they can only see it, they can make suggestions, or they can be an editor. You can also add an expiration. So if I want them to be able to look at this, I can make them a viewer. But then I can say that, you know what, this is going to run out. You've only got till Friday to look at this. And after Friday, it's going to expire, and you're no longer going to be able to look at this document. So that can be very helpful if you want students to look at something, or if you have maybe a study guide that you want them to have access to, but then not have access during the test. That can be a way you can to do that. Now, another way that you might want to share, though, is if you're not sure who all it needs to go to, like if it's going to parents or it's going to a lot of people. An easy way to do this is to change this to anyone with link. And now if you copy this link and I open a incognito window so it's not connected to my account, and I type that in, it's going to show me the document. And it's just going to make me a viewer because that's how I have it set up. But it is going to allow me to see that document. And you can change that so that they can be a commenter or an editor, just like anything else. And you can allow people to make some other settings there. But that is your basic options with sharing. And that works in Docs, that works in Slides, that works in Sheets. They all work pretty much the same with this ability to share. And so that can be very useful. So again, you just click on share. You can type someone's name in. And especially if they're inside the school district, it's going to help you find them pretty easily. Once you have them in, they can be a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. Oh, and then I guess if all of a sudden you don't want them to look at that anymore, you can hit remove and it's going to pull them off. And then you can make it so that anyone with the link, just people in Maysville or just people that you have sent it to have access to the link. Copy the address and post it or share it. Hit done, and it's going to make those changes for you. So that is just some of the things that Google Drive can help out with, a way to maybe organize your Drive a little better. And I guess one last thing about Drive, when you have those folders that I didn't really go over and I want to make sure I cover is, once I have a folder, if I needed this ledger, let's say, to go live in my demo folder, I can right click on it and go to move to and move it, or you can physically drag it just like you would folders on the desktop. So that's kind of it as far as Google Drive and sharing. Again, if you need any help or you have any questions, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to help.